Hello everyone, I'm back again, this time continuing with the European soldiers, but giving you a skin tone tutorial, because I know a lot of people struggle with skin, so I thought it's something I quite enjoy painting, get a lot of compliments on it, so I thought I'll do a quick tutorial. I know there's plenty out there, but here's how I do it. This how I'll be doing European skin, because these guys are European soldiers. I'm going to use European skin. So start off with, for male European skin, I start with good old GW Dwarf Flesh. Don't know what to call it these days, but there's plenty of ways you can look that up online. So this has been heavily thinned down and has, as you can see, been through the absolute ringer. So I'll just put that there, and I've got my European soldier here. Base is already done, because I always do the bases first on these guys because they're integrated. And much like the base, at this stage, because I do the skin first, I'm not too worried about neatness. So as I said, this is a very, very thin down paint, so it goes on, well, the coverage is pretty awful, really. So I will be doing multiple coats of this. Now, the reason why you're thinking, well, why do you thin it so much? Why don't you just have it a bit thicker? Reason why I thin it down so much is the end result is so much better by using thinned paints. You know, there's a lot of times that I probably should thin my paints, but I don't. But one thing I never skimp on is skin. I always use thinned paints for skin, just because, well, being humans, you're drawn towards looking at skin, so it just does make your model that much better. So when that dries, it'll probably look a bit more like this guy. Here's what I prepared earlier, and as you can see, that looks awful at the moment. So I'm gonna do probably another 2 layers on each one. Again, as you can see, I'm not using a great brush. It's just an old GW base coat brush. This isn't one of my painting brushes, as it were. You know, for when I get into detail work, that's when I go to my Series 7s. But not to worry about that for now. I'm gonna go back once that first coat's dry. I'm gonna go back, give you another 2 coats, and we'll be back for the wash stage. Right, I'm back with the next step. I've gone through, and in the end it was 4 coats of dwarf flesh. Now, some of you out there might be freaking out thinking, oh my god, 4 coats, but it took me about half an hour, 12 models. By the time I got to the end of this one, the first one was dry, so I could just go back, let's try again, 4 thin coats, and what you end up with is a nice even coat of dwarf flesh, and that's the way to start. Now, as I said before, what you've seen with technique, I'm quite sloppy when I do it, but I'm making sure I'm getting all the skin, and I'm just going at it because it's a thin paint, so I'm spreading it nice and thin, so I'm spreading it out, and I can just go over all this on the clothing later. That's not a big deal. Now, I'm just also going to clarify, before when I said that this is European skin, I should have been more accurate and said like Northern European skin, kind of your British, or, well, these guys are going to be Dutch, so it's kind of your Northern European skin. Not in any way trying to step on anyone's toes with race or ethnicity here, just my choice of words, so forgive my ignorance if I've offended anyone. But anywho, let's get on with painting, because that's why you guys are here. So I've got my base coat. Now I'm going to take some Reikland Flesh Shade, which is what I use. I used to use Ogren Flesh before, because that's what it used to be called, and way back in the day I used to use the Flesh Wash. I've always used the GW ones. There may be better ones out there, I don't know. I've only ever used GW ones or Army Painter ones for some of the other inks, so that's just me. Right, so all I'm going to do, get a bit on my brush there, and then I'm going to brush it in. Now, Firelock models are fantastic for taking ink. They just, the way the sculpts work, they are, well, just look at that, it just goes all the grooves in there. It's beautiful. Now it's a bit thick on his face, so I'm going to go back and sort that out, but I'm just going to give it a quick wash everywhere, and then go back. What I tend to do is, I found to get the most natural shading is I brush upwards as if towards the light, where the light would be striking, and that just tends to, as you can see there, his eyes are a bit dark. Let's get a bit out there. Yeah, that's a bit better. Right, so that's his ink wash done. Nope, put that bubble. And that's it for his ink wash. I've got 11 more to do, and we'll be back with the next step when that's all dry. Hello, we're back. I've left the models overnight to dry, so the wash has all nice and dry now. As you can see, it has set and it's beautiful. Like I said, Firelock models are great for the way the ink sits, and I'll be honest, if you're just going for a straight tabletop quality, that is, I think that was more than acceptable finish. But we're gonna go for, we'll push it out a bit. And next stage I do while I'm doing these models is the eyes. Yep, I know a lot of people leave the eyes to last, which I understand why, because eyes are a pain, but you really shouldn't leave them to last because they're a pain. You should do them early because they're a pain. So what I'm going to do is I do them at this stage, because all I've done at the moment is I've done the base coat, which you've seen, and an ink wash. Now if I screw these eyes up royally, I can just rebase the face, rewash it, and back at the same stage. I've not done any highlighting, I've not done anything special. That's going to be, a nightmare to do again. So I do it at this stage, just save myself from frustration. Now, you may notice I have changed to a slightly finer brush I was using. This is actually a Sable, Klinsky Sable 5.0 brush. So it's great for stuff like this, and that's about it. So I'm using white, obviously, and just take a little bit on the tip, and then I'll just dab it on my thumb. And then if you look, it's hard to see, but I press my palms together just to give me a little bit extra stability as I just aim. Oh, you can't see that, I'll move that there. Aim and just in I go. Now, problem with a brush like this is because you got so little paint on there, it dries really quickly. So you do actually have to have a bit of pace about you. So there's one done. Now I tend, because I'm right-handed, I can ever kind of paint right eyes. So what I do is, as you're seeing, I flip the model over, so I'm technically painting another right eye, basically so the guy's nose doesn't get in the way. I know that sounds silly, but hey ho. Don't know if everyone else has found that, but that's the way I do it. And it works for me, so that's what I'm going to keep doing. Right, now it's a bit wonky. Let's just let's just neaten that up. Neaten that up a little bit. There we go. At the moment, he's got one quite starey eye. So what I'm going to do is, with the wash that I use, I find that leather brown, it's an almost perfect blend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of leather brown, again, a bit more than that, wipe, brush is still a bit too wet, and then I'm just going to sweep underneath the eye, to nip that in a little bit. I'm making a bit of a pig's ear this morning because my hands are in a slightly different position than I normally would be to paint because of the camera. So that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. There we go, those eyes are looking more what I like. You know, he's not got one big, he's not giving everyone the stink eye at the moment, that's kind of what I mean. So, next up, you all know next up, it's black pupils. Now this is where you can really get it wrong. Because, you know, you make them look cross-eyed or all sorts. So what I do is, it seems silly, but it works for me, is I point the model's face. Well, I point where I want the model to be looking at my face, which you just have to trust me I'm doing. And then I aim for what would be then the middle of the eye. And that way, his eyes are looking where I want them to look. So because the way he's kind of prepping his gun, I want him kind of looking over slightly. So I'm looking just past the gun. Oh. Sometimes I still cock it up slightly, like that. It's not too bad. It's not a complete cock up. I'm just going to put the tiniest drop of white just on the right hand side of his eye, and I think that will be us good to go. So again, I mean, by the end of doing a few of these, you know, I do look like I've got a zebra print on my hand. So, you know, because as you see, I'm forever just wiping on my thumb. But, you know, it's acrylic, it washes through. Oh, I'm making a right mess of this. We're almost there, just gotta go touch up where my shaky hand's been. And like I said, if you make a complete howler of it, you always go back and repaint. It's not too onerous a task, you're not too many stages in at this point. Because there's nothing worse to being right near the end of a model and having to repaint it. Best bit is I've got another 11 of these to do today, so that should be fun, especially if I'm making a mess of it like I am today. But another painting tip for me. Sometimes I hear people say about when they're just not feeling it, I've been painting, I've made a mess of things, I just wasn't in the mood. Well, if you're not in the mood, don't do it. My painting tip for today, because this is the thing now, is I will typically paint for I aim to paint for about 15 minutes a night. Yeah, if I'm feeling it at the end of that, I'll paint some more. If I'm not, I won't. Easy as that. So right, just using a little bit of chestnut brown just to finish that eye off, because it's a little bit just where it meets the nose, it's a little lighter than I'd like. And the rest of this I'll be able to tidy up with the highlight. Now it looks like it's got a bit of a black eye, to be fair. So I'm going to actually touch that. There we go. I mean, the guy's rocking a black eye at the moment, but you can see those pretty good eyes. So I'll leave it there. I'm just going to touch his cheek up a bit, and well, actually, we'll just do that in the highlight stage, which in 22 eyes more time we'll be at. But I'm not going to make you guys watch that. I'm just going to do that myself. Okay. Okay, everyone, we are back. We're many eyes in, and we're going to move on to the next stage. Now, next stage will be the highlighting stage. So, first thing I want to do is I'm going to go back over it with my dwarf flesh, which, as you remember, is a thin. It's very thin. So, when I put it on, it got almost a bit transparent, so it's a kind of natural blending. For this, I'm going to my, I'm breaking out the heavy guns now. I'm into my Series 7s, which I absolutely love as a paintbrush. Now, there are people out there who think, well, are they that much better for the money? The answer, yes. So, paint these guys. I'm looking, at the moment, for the first highlight, all of the raised areas. So, kind of restoring his base skin tone, if you will. Make sure I get the eyebrows, cheeks, on chin. Let's just fix his black eye. I'm not doing anything directional at the moment or anything kind of particularly fancy. I'm just going back over. So there's a bit more distinction between the shaded areas and the highlighted areas, which, you know, kind of like faces have. So doing round the jaw. Round the jaw, avoid the cheeks themselves. Because if you start to highlight the kind of the cheeks rather than cheekbones, it kind of gives everyone like a chubby kind of baby-faced look. Now if that's what you're going for, that's great, but I'm not. So just doing the fingers here. Going up in the hand. Right. Right, so there we go. There's the first step done. Now, he's looking, I'm just going to go back to that cheek, because, like I said, the paint's quite thin, so his black eye's still kind of prevalent there. Well, you know what? The guy is also a soldier. There's every chance that someone punched him. You know, fighting's not a friendly thing, so it's not outside the realm of possibility to say that this guy's taken an injury. So there we go. There is our first highlight stage. Moving straight on to the next. Obviously, I would normally be doing the rest, which is so much fun. It's why I hate batch painting. But what I'm going to do is I've got my handy dandy palette here. I've taken just a crappy old brush full of dwarf flesh, and now I'm taking a brush full of thinned elf flesh, giving it a mix. And this time we're going for the top highlights. Now, for this, the way I learned best to do my highlighting, this is going to sound a bit strange, but was by watching makeup tutorials on YouTube. Because they are actually really handy for telling people the best places to highlight. So where I'm going to highlight for the face is the T-zone. We have the eyebrows, the nose. Then I'm going to go for the cheeks and the chin. So going for a quick gentle highlight. Edge of the nose. Yeah, you guys can see that. That's it. Nose done. Cheeks. And the chin. Just a little spot color on his chin. And that just adds shape to the face. Now for the hands, I just tend to do the knuckles. Especially when they're gripping something, it adds a bit of shape to the hand and kind of it just adds a little bit of realism, as if he's gripping the musket. So that's why I do that. For here, I'm just going to do fingertips. That's almost more just because it's going to look better on the model. But also, it's tips. It's a bit closest to the light source, in this case being the sun. So that's my justification. And there we go. There is the skin done. There's obviously mustache and hair left to do, but that is going to be another step. Let's see if yeah. So you can see there. You can see there eyebrows, nose, chin, cheekbones, knuckles, fingertips, knuckles, and there we go. Easy as that. So that's it for skin. I've got a whole bunch more to do, and I'll catch you for the next step, because Kev has convinced me to go and do take you through every step that I do on these guys. So hopefully if there's any steps that you guys are struggling with, that I can help you out with that. Okie dokie. Bye bye.